ahead and get started. Well, welcome everybody here today. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Jay Giles, and I actually work on the employer relations team here at American Public University System, which is part of our career services department. So we work with our employers here to basically network and get connected with our students and alumni for employment opportunities. And we are very happy and very pleased to have General Dynamics Information Technologies, also known as GDIT, team here today to discuss information about their organization and their roles and answer any questions you may have as well. So before we get started, I just want to go over a couple quick housekeeping items before I turn it over to the team. This webinar will be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel. I will put that here in the chat. So you can view the webinar in our on our YouTube channel, Career Services. There's also other career services resources there as well. We will be using the Q&A, we'll be using the chat feature for the Q&A today. So if you have any questions during the chat, one of the GDIT team members will be managing the chat to answer any questions you may have during the event. And so I appreciate everything that GDIT does for our team and working with our team. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Trudy and her team to go ahead and do their introductions. And thank you guys for joining us. And you guys go ahead and take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Trudy Perry. I am with the GDIT Military Programs team. From the Military Programs team, we do special events like this. We do military career fairs. We help people who are trying to transition from the military through SkillBridge. And we also try to help people find employment. Even if I realize on this call, because it is from APUS, even though we're on this call, if you are not a military affiliated, please still connect with me and I will absolutely help you, give you the same materials. Just be aware that they may have a military slant to them. But I would love to help anybody and connect. At a certain point, we will go ahead and give you our LinkedIn information. That is the easiest way to connect with us, through LinkedIn. Plus, you get the power of our network and you get to see everything that's going on. So I'm going to hand it off to Tina Kim. Tina, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about a program or maybe the programs you're here for. Then Danielle will be next. And then we do have Jennifer Lloyd here supporting us today from another program. I will wrap it up with Jennifer at the very end. So Tina, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Great. Thank you, Trudy. So hi, everyone. My name is Tina Kim, and I do work at GDIT as a resource manager. As a resource manager, we work with like the PMO, which is more of the program management organization. I also work with recruiters like Trudy, and we basically have many programs we support under the umbrella of a vice president. So under me, I actually support 5 different programs in the Intel side of the house. And within that 5 program, I basically help staff for positions. So someone like yourselves who are actually coming out of school or in the military and want to look for opportunities, you would actually work with the recruiter, but in the process, I, as a resource manager, work with managers and other management teams, as well as recruiters and GDIT employees, and we all kind of come together to make this happen. So I definitely look forward to any of the questions that you guys have, and just really appreciate this awesome opportunity to kind of introduce myself and our team together. So I'm going to introduce you to Danielle Jones. Danielle Jones actually supports one of my programs, and one of my programs is called Ratchet East. So I'm going to ask Danielle to introduce herself. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Good afternoon. My name is Danielle Jones. I'm the Service Operations Manager for the Ratchet East program. So we are a Tier 2 break-fix contract. We do hardware support for workstations, phones, Computex devices, servers. We do a lot of vendor support for blade servers, storage area networks. Our guys will replace parts for those items based on the vendor availability. We are 24/7. Our customer is the NRO, and we have positions in Springfield, Virginia, and Chantilly, Virginia. So day to day, our guys are troubleshooting workstation issues, doing large installs for operations offices, doing customer moves, anything from new workstation, new printer, new phones, scanners, anything like that day to day. It's not really sysadmin work. It's mainly hardware, but there are some system administration aspects to it. And so for our positions, anything technical is going to require 8570 compliance, which will be Security Plus in order to support hardware. That certification, I would suggest you get for the requirement, but also just to get familiar with hardware, I would probably suggest A plus and even maybe a cloud certification because everything's virtual now. Most of our workstations are virtual. That's how most customers are going now. So if you can get a cloud certification, that will definitely help you be a little more competitive when it comes to applying to positions. So we also do logistics support. So we hire for those positions. They don't require Security Plus. It is a way to get in the door, to get familiar with our customer and what we do. So I would suggest maybe a logistics position. We also do change release work, which is more like project management, but on a smaller scale. So any new projects that we have for the customers for new installs or major moves, our change and release managers will handle those requests. Again, that's a position that doesn't require Security Plus, and it's a good way to get your foot in the door and kind of get familiar with our customer and familiar with our processes. And I do know right now, Tina mentioned we have 2 positions open currently. One is a logistics position, and one is a incident/task manager position, I believe. So that's
Okay, thank you, Danielle. Jay, we have a little technical difficulty. We're not able to access the chat. So if you could maybe look at some permissions, none of us are able to type in it. So while Jay's looking at that, I'm going to go over. I had mentioned that Jennifer Lloyd is with us. Jennifer is on our federal civilian program. Federal civilian programs cover a wide spectrum of programs that aren't defense related or they're not intelligence and homeland security related. So she happens to be on a medical team. And I'm going to cover some of her programs. So one of the programs that Jennifer has is the U.S. Army Medical Material Development Activity. Its mission is to develop and manage medical material to protect and sustain the warfighter. We hire a full range of administrative, technical, and professional disciplines to include program analysts, biomedical engineers, medical technical advisors, logistic managers, logistics analyst, product support analyst, and system integration engineers. The next program is the Armed Forces Health Surveillance Division. This is the central epidemiologic resource for the U.S. Armed Forces, conducting medical surveillance to protect those who serve our nation. We hire scientists, epidemiologists, and program analysts. We have GDIT has a contract with the National Institute of Health, the NIH. The NIH is the nation's medical research agency, making important discoveries that improve health and save lives. We hire network engineers, desktop support for Windows and Mac, system engineers, and cybersecurity. We have a contract with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The FDA is responsible for protecting the public health by assuring the safety, efficacy, and security of human and veterinary drugs, biological projects, medical devices, and our nation's food supplies, cosmetic, and products that emit radiation. We hire software developers who are skilled in Appian and ServiceNow, and Salesforce positions. Primarily, these positions are for CMS. Finally, the last program that Jennifer supports is the Office of Human and Animal Research Oversight. This program is responsible for ensuring that the U.S. Army Medical Research and Development Command conducts, contracts, sponsors, supports, or manages research and U.S. Army Medical Command investigations involving human subjects, human anatomical substances, or animals are conducted in accordance with federal, DoD, Army, and international regulatory requirements. We hire business administrators and scientists for the human subject protection support services. So that's a little bit of what all everybody supports that's online today. I'm going to now present just a general overview of GDIT. I'm going to give you some email addresses and things like that. So if you have a pen and paper ready, you can catch some of our information. Hold on, let me try to get it full screen. All right, so as I mentioned, I am with the General Dynamics Information Technology Military Talent Community. So let's talk about General Dynamics for 1 minute. General Dynamics is our parent corporation. General Dynamics is made up of 10 companies. GDIT is the largest of the 10 companies. And we also are one of the 2 companies that our contracts relate to IT. We also have companies that build ships. We have companies that build planes. We have companies that build submarines. We build the Stryker and the Abrams tanks. We also have ordnance and ordnance systems. So, and our last company that I always forget about is Jet Aviation. We actually hire pilots and flight crews and aviation staff to fly those people who have their own personal airplanes. So we build Gulfstreams and we also staff them. Now, General Dynamics, their website is www.gd.com. The reason I bring that up is their career site lists careers for all 10 companies. All right, so if you want to get one easy place to go, that will give you all 10. All right, so within General Dynamics Information Technology, we are broken down into 3 main divisions. We do have some other little sections, but the Defense Division, those are going to be your regular contracts like you're used to for the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force. The Coast Guard, those usually fall under IHS and will be in a different division. But your POC will be Jennifer Madger at gdit.com if you would ever like to email her. This is me. I'm Trudy Perry. I'm with Intelligence Homeland Security Division. So there is my email if you would like to directly email me about anything. These are some of the highlights of different things that we've done. Vanessa Taylor. She is our Federal Civilian Division. So all those medical jobs that I just discussed, those will be under Vanessa Taylor. Now, where your military programs help. So we're not the actual recruiters for these different positions, but we're able to get you in touch with those recruiters. Our military talent community. Jay mentioned this a little bit earlier. Here's some of the things that we can help you with. If you visit either of those 2 websites, you can find information on SkillBridge or our tool, which is the MOS Translator. That tool allows you just to type in your MOS and it will pull up the jobs that are related to it. So if you were a 25 Bravo and you wanted to see what was around you, you would just go ahead to that MOS translator and you would type in 25 Bravo. I'm sorry, I'm Army, so I don't know the other MOS codes, but if you just knew your MOS code and wanted to see what was available, the MOS translator is for you. Our military talent community. We've gone ahead and we've pulled the data to support to see where our main roles fall. So from the military community, we get artificial intelligence, software development, enterprise IT and engineering, cloud, cyber, data analytics, and then some of our other support roles, such as HR, finance, business analysts, contract administrators. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can do with us. Finally, we'll talk a little bit about your resumes. And you guys, when we end this, you're going to be able to ask us whatever questions you want. But I will say, when you look at the job descriptions, the hiring managers and the teams put in a lot of details. In that section that says requirements, that's exactly what they're looking for. If they say that you need to have 3 years of experience in IT, then your resume needs to show 3 years of experience in IT. If it says that you must have a top secret clearance, then you must have a top secret clearance. Now, I get a lot of questions and we'll go over this again. A lot of times people will say, do you sponsor clearances? GDIT will sponsor a clearance. However, you need to look for the phrase ability to obtain. All right, that means that they will sponsor the clearance. If it just says secret, then on day 1 of your employment, you must have a secret clearance. I've listed our career site for you. It's www.gdit.com/careers. If you are still in the military and you work around GDIT employees, get to know them, talk to them, introduce yourselves, let them know that you're interested. Somebody may be like Danielle. She might not know anything available in federal civilian, but Danielle knows how to get a hold of me, and then she'll let me know, and we'll circle back. GDIT, we call it a company with a soul. We really do have a soul. That's what stands us out from other companies. With GDIT, we will try our best to help you out. Okay. And then finally, I know you all are doing this because you're coming to us from APUS, so you are continuing your education. However, there are other places that for the military community, they will be able to help you out, and sometimes with free training or low-cost training. And these are some of those programs: Hiring Our Heroes, Onward to Opportunity, LinkedIn. Now, if you are still on active duty, LinkedIn is free the entire time you are on active duty. Once you transition out, you can have it free for a year if you have not used it previously. But while you are in, you have free access to LinkedIn. Then finally, Udemy, Coursera. If you've not heard of ACNOW Education and you're from the military community, look them up. They are on Facebook and LinkedIn. And then finally, Boots to Books. So those are some of the military programs that can assist with continuing to upskill. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the presentation. Now it looks like our question and answer section, or our chat section, is open. So you guys can either feel free to come off a microphone if you're able to and ask your questions, or let's put these questions in the chat. Danielle, Tina, and I will answer them. Jennifer is also online and she is also adding in some information. So the first question from Christopher. Christopher, I am your point of contact. My email is trudy.perry@GDIT. Trudy.perry@GDIT. Okay. Yes, GDIT does offer internships. Justin asked, does GDIT offer internships? Our internships usually are summer internships. We do have some off-cycle internships now and then. So right now, our internships are already ongoing. It is paid internships. Some of them are virtual, some of them are in person. You will do your internship traditionally the junior year of your degree. So you need to still have at least one semester after you complete your internship to go to school. Okay. So traditionally it happens the summer of your junior year. I will get you that GDIT internship page. Give me 1 second. If there's another question that comes in, go ahead and feel free to answer it, guys, because I can't see the screen right now.
So it looks like there's a question about I'm sorry, Jay, were you going to ask those questions?
I was going to say if there are some participants that would like to ask a question, their microphones are muted by default. They can just click the raise hand button, and if they raise their hand, then I can unmute their microphone for them so they can go ahead and answer or ask a question that can be answered, for everybody that way, if they don't want to put it in the chat.
Did you want me to go over some of the questions that I see here?
Go ahead, Tina.
Yeah, so it says, a person FB had a Security Plus, which expired, right? So is it okay to apply to GDIT? Yes, you can still apply. I think it's going to vary upon the manager who's going to be able to see, can I still apply? You would still have to redo the exam. To have privileges or access, you do have to have these certifications. So you could still apply, but I'm sure that they're going to give you some time to retake the test if it's expired. Can we get those slides and this information after the meeting? I think that's one of the questions, Jay, that they have for you.
I'll have to talk to Jay. I can get them to Jay.
Okay.
Maybe we can figure out the distro. But you can also just email me for the slides and I can easily send them to you guys. There is a question from Jewel. How long is the secret TSSCI good for after program debrief separation? Great question, and we get this often. Your clearance remains in an active status for 2 years. If you do not use it in that 2 years, it goes inactive and you will have to apply for a new clearance. Your SCI portion of it, you have to be using that to be able to hold your SCI status. So what will happen is you will have a TS. Okay. Now there are positions that will say, is your clearance in scope? All right. So what that means is, when was the last time that you had your investigation conducted? Some of you may be in CE, continuous evaluation. So it may have been quite some time since you had your last investigation. So that's what they're talking about when they say in scope. Okay.
Tommy raised his hand and has a question, so I'm going to go ahead and unmute him.
Go ahead.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
I think it's Trina, the one that says, is it Trina? About the intelligence division?
Trudy, but that's okay.
Okay. I'm actually 4 or 5 classes away from getting my Master of Intelligence with AMU with a cyber track. Um, do I need to just start contacting you now because I will be graduating like February of next year, I think it is. Do I need to start making contact now with recruiters, or what's that process?
All right, good question. So, Tommy, do you use LinkedIn yet?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Yes.
Okay, so absolutely, you will want to start building your network now. Um, it's not so good to contact recruiters because our positions, when we post them, we're trying to fill them usually within like 60 days. So there's no way that somebody would hold a job for you for
Right.
7 months, which you're aware of.
Right.
But when you start connecting with them, following them, then you're going to see the types of roles they post. You're going to be able to go online and read about them and see, yes, that they require, I don't know, even though it's an Intel job, maybe it requires you to have Microsoft project experience, right? So
Okay.
then you would be able to go in and while you still have time, start getting those additional certifications. The military programs team also offers resume writing classes. So we can help you start looking at your resume, getting it organized better. So different things like that, Tommy. So that's why you want to start connecting with us now.
Okay. Check. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Sure.
Terrence and Aubrey both had their hands raised, and I unmuted both of them, but I think Terrence was first. So, Terrence, you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I'm not in the military, but I am currently 2 classes from finishing my master's in finance, and then I also am 5 classes from finishing my master's in cybersecurity. So what I pretty much did was, all of the electives were cybersecurity, so that way I was halfway done, so that I can just hop right into it. The problem that I'm having is that a lot of the jobs, as you mentioned, right, they are military based. And so, is there anything that you guys have in particular that assist civilians specifically? Any ideas of maybe how to get into the project management sector? Because that's what I wanted to combine with the masters in cybersecurity as well as with the masters in finance.
Okay, good questions. So, absolutely. When you say a lot of it is military oriented, are you saying that because they require clearances?
Yes, like looking online and a lot of the jobs, it's like I'm automatically disqualified because they are looking more so for, things that I wouldn't have not being from the
Right.
military.
Okay, so that is definitely an issue with federal contracting companies that a large portion of our positions are going to require clearances. However, GDIT does have a very large segment of roles that do not require clearances. I had mentioned the federal civilian business sector. Most of those jobs do not require clearances, Terrence. So those you would absolutely be qualified to apply for. So it does take a little bit of legwork. If you connect with me, I can give you some tips on how to find roles that don't require clearances to help your search a little easier. You can also go on to different sites like Indeed and LinkedIn. Our jobs are posted there, and you can say that you're looking for uncleared roles or no clearance required, and that will help your search. Now, the meat and potatoes of what you were asking, how do you get into project management, program management? Um, so, gonna give you some things you may not want to hear, but I'm all about tough love, Terrence. For
For it.
for program management, you are not going to easily jump right into it without years of experience doing that. Okay, with GDIT. Now, Other things that you can look for instead of program management, task managers. You can look for, Danielle has some positions that she mentioned that were very similar to program manager, but don't have the same title. So you're just going to have to do research and find some things. Tina's role, for example, she's not in program management, but her role definitely is very much along the lines of program management because she is what keeps the position staffed. She keeps contract deliverables submitted on time. She keeps track of a lot of the budgetary items to make sure that we're not losing money by not having people in seats and work being performed. So that is a resource manager. So there's a lot of other things out there besides of what people always think of just searching for program management.
Yes, ma'am. And then one last question, because this is related to right now, I'm also like currently enrolled and I'm working on my Security Plus certificate. Like, would that make a difference? Would that give me a competitive edge in that
Huge
aspect?
difference. Huge
Okay.
difference. Security Plus is now pretty much the standard to work on any government network. So it doesn't matter if it's military, if it's the EPA, if it's the Coast Guard, you know, to work on that network, you need to have system admin rights, and Security Plus will get you those different things.
And one last question, because I know Miss Jones, she mentioned the cloud-based solution. And is there one in particular that you find that stands out more than others?
Yeah, I would probably try to go with something with AWS. I feel like most contracts are going the AWS route.
Okay, thank you kindly. I appreciate your time.
No problem.
I think Aubrey was next. Thank you for your patience, Aubrey, in waiting, but you should be good to go. Are you still there, Aubrey?
Okay. Did I freeze?
Nope, you're still on.
Okay. All right. It just got so quiet. Um, I'm going to go ahead. Aubrey, if you come back or if you're able to ask, just feel free to hop in. I'm going to answer some of these other questions that are in the chat. Justin, you asked about being in graduate school. Can you start an internship at that level? Honestly, I'm not familiar enough with the internships. So I will have to find that information out for you. You can go ahead and you can email me if you're interested. I am also on the career services career link. You can also leave me a message there. Jennifer asked or answered the question about remote positions. We do have remote positions that are fully remote. We also have remote positions that are location specific. So it will say you must live within 60 miles of Atlanta or a CDC position. So you're just going to have to read those job descriptions to see what they are. We do not provide remote work for overseas. So if you are OCONUS or if you are overseas and you are trying to do remote work, GDIT does not offer it. And guys, mainly it's due to taxation laws and different international agreements and things like that. So if you are military and you're moving overseas, if you are already OCONUS, I'm sorry, but we cannot offer you remote work. Daijin, you asked about SkillBridge. All right, SkillBridge is, I would like for you to connect with me if you are a year or less from your separation. If you are a year or less from your separation, I will go ahead and we can start working with you. Now, here's some of the limitations, right? If you are maybe trying to go for a role and let's say you're in maybe the Hampton Roads area and your command is making you have to do it there. We may tell you, thanks for connecting with us. Please reconnect with us and I'll give you a certain date. But I need to see your timeline first. So that's why I needed about a year out. Okay. Scrolling on down, guys, if you guys have questions, now's the time to ask. You've got 3 very skilled experts. Don't be afraid to come and ask online or ask, via mic. There we go. Roderick. Hey, Jay, have you can you get Roderick's mic active?
He should be good to go now.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Hey, I'm not a recently separated veteran. It's been a couple of decades, but I have been working in security for a while, and I was trying to get in on the government side of it. I don't have a security clearance, but I do have certifications. Let me give you my background. I've done some GRC work. I've done some information security work. Uh, I recently got my within last year. I completed the graduate certificate. I have a certificate. I have a master's degree in cybersecurity technology from Maryland, and I completed the. So I didn't think I needed another master, so I went to APU and completed the information system security graduate certificate, just to get some knowledge of what's out there, and to get some CE credits too. So, but I have a certification. I have a CISM. I have my CISA, my CRISH, my CCNP, my CHE, and my Security Plus. And I got a couple others. And when I go out for these security jobs, I mean for these government jobs, I never get an answer back. I always says, you weren't selected to be promoted to the manager or something like that. Now, I never went to your site, but I'm thinking it was because I don't have security clearance in many companies. I was told at one of the other employment sites that they don't sponsor those. But I just heard Trudy say that y'all do sponsor some. But could you explain about that process on
Sure. I can talk a little bit about that, Roderick. So, if it lists the security clearance in the job description, they want that clearance active. So, when you're reading the details
so
on the
so when I'm
GDIT,
reading that and it says security clearance, just whatever type. So you have to be active or within that 2-year period from separation of the military, correct?
yes, that
Okay.
is correct.
Because
Now,
I'm just trying to see, okay, I know it seems to me this is more geared to freshly separated military personnel and their families. And I've been out a couple of decades, so, but I've been working in it. And so I've been trying to get in the government realm, not a long time, but just, within the last couple of years. And I went to the government sites, and I just never get that interview, never get that passed on. I'm just
right.
hoping.
So Roderick, like I said, the security clearance is a large factor, right? So if it lists it and you don't have it, you will be disqualified. Okay. Now, what I mentioned about the sponsorships, if it says ability to obtain, then GDIT will sponsor that clearance. Lots of times where you'll see that, guys, is on with polygraphs. So it will say top secret with ability to obtain polygraph. And then so what that means is they want you to have that TS, but then they'll put you in for the polygraph later. Now, when they do that, they don't have the work active for you because you have to be at that level. So they'll put you in, but you will receive what we call like a contingent job offer. So it's based on you getting that clearance. But that clearance can take sometimes up to 8 months, 9 months, or longer for you to get. So even though there still will be a significant wait, even with us get sponsoring your clearance. All right. The better way to work at Roderick would be trying to find an uncleared position, get into GDIT, and then use the mobility program to move around within GDIT to one of those roles that will sponsor your clearance. So for example, if I was trying to work on Ms. Jones' program, I already have my job right now, so Danielle could put me in if her program was allowed to do that. She could put me in, and I'm still working. I'm not losing any income or waiting. And then when Danielle does get notification, then she brings me onto her program. So it's really better to try to get in on an uncleared program and then move around that way. If you're still having issues, Roderick, a lot of times it's when you apply to the role, because even though the role's open, they may already have selected candidates for interviews. Or sometimes maybe it's just the way your resume is written. You said you have all of these certifications and all of this experience, but maybe that's not being conveyed in your resume. And that's where I can help you out.
Okay, yeah, because I've been resume writing, and I've been adjusting my resume to cater to some of those requirements. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of those requirements I do have experience in, but it's always a few that you don't.
Right,
And
right.
my thing is, what are they looking for? They're looking for you to have experience in each and every criterion that you have on the resume. If that's the case, I don't know who are they hiring.
So if it is listed in the basic requirements section, you need to have those items that are listed in the basic requirements section for our roles. Our basic requirements section usually has about, I don't know, 6 bullets, 7 bullets, and you have to meet those requirements. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
It's still
So
it's still kind of
hey Roderick,
fuzzy.
you and I, how about if we work offline? We only have about 15 minutes and we still have a lot of questions to get through.
Okay.
All
Could you
right.
put your email up, and I'll contact you through email?
Absolutely. That's the last thing I'm going to do for our closeout. We'll put both my email and my LinkedIn address. Okay.
Okay. I look forward to it.
All right. Thank you.
I think Aubrey has her hand up again. Hopefully her microphone's working.
Hi, Aubrey.
And we also have 2 other questions from Christian and Renisha. I'm not sure if Aubrey's mic is working or not, but Christian, go ahead. If you're here and you have a question, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Hey, so first of all, thank you for doing this. Second, when I leave the military, I'll be exiting essentially this uh, uh, space portion of the United States Army with the TS. And I heard you guys discussing polygraphs, and I was wondering, like, what is the what is the financial value of going through like a polygraph? Because as my bachelor's was in forensic science, so therefore I've been through one, and it's very stressful, and and a lot of people get either they get caught lying, or they have like I forget what that middle part is, where it's inconclusive. Um, so like, what's the financial benefit overall of like just getting that polygraph, I guess, or going for jobs that have that polygraph requirement?
So I could kind of answer that. I think it's not necessarily the financial benefit of it. It's the agency that you support. So we support the NRO. In order to come into their building and into supporting them, it is their requirement, right? So the government pays for the polygraph, right? It's the agency, like if you work for the CIA, you would need to do a full scope polygraph, right? So it's the agency of that particular department that requires you to have these kind of clearances. It isn't GDIT. So as GDIT, we support these programs as a prime contractor or as a subcontractor. Those are the requirements that come in as we bid for these opportunities. So it isn't really a GDIT requirement. It is a government agency requirement. So hopefully that kind of explains to you what it is. So it isn't us asking you to have these kind of background or this kind of certification. It's the agency that we support that we win those contracts to that requires that particular clearance. So I don't know, Danielle, if you want to add a little bit more to it, but hopefully that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, I would probably say, because I think he was trying to see how it would benefit him, I guess, financially. I mean, I know there are different polys, right? The CI and then the lifestyle. I think when you get the lifestyle, it does automatically give you a leg up when it comes to salary for most programs. Um, if you don't have a clearance and you go to sit for one, I'm sorry, not clearance. If you don't have a poly and you go to sit for one, if it's CI, I really don't see that much of a challenge. I think from what I've understood, the lifestyle CI poly is the more difficult one. So it's beneficial. I would try at least a CI poly. You'll stand out from other candidates that don't have it, so it'll make it easier for you to move to different agencies, I think. So.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, Renisha, you should be next. Go ahead if you're able to ask your question. Okay, looks like Renisha lowered her hand. And Isaiah, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me? I
Yes.
know I'm driving, so but no. So I had a quick question. I put it in the chat. But I'm like about a month or so away from EASing, and I did see on like you guys' career website that you guys had like the military program for like transitioning members and stuff like that. So would you guys still be able to work with me like if I'm like getting out? I know you said like that year timeline and give you like, room for that.
When do you start your terminal leave?
At the very beginning of July.
So no,
Yeah.
we probably wouldn't be able to help you with SkillBridge because your command's not even going to be able to get your paperwork pushed through. Are you planning on taking terminal leave?
And in theory, I don't have to. I could just, at the end of, 1st of July, I can just, go. But it's all based on just like, I guess, job openings and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm
Okay.
able to adjust. Yeah, I have that freedom. Like, I don't, you
All
know,
right. So are you just doing 60 days of terminal leave? So you should be out sometime the end of August?
um, before then, because it's in
Okay.
conjunction with the leave days I
Yeah.
have.
So honestly, you're going to do better if we just start helping you look for a full-time position.
Right, and that's what I did. So I was like, maybe I'll just, you know, go ahead and, you know, just look at like you guys' actual positions. Now, my other
Yeah.
question is, um, now my MOS kind of does not directly correlate with the positions available, but my degree does, right? I have a BS in cybersecurity. I've done internships in the past, but like, you know, that consistent like 1 to 2 years experience, does that does that have any real, you know, does that help balance out my odds or yeah? So I guess that's my question. My military experience doesn't directly correlate with like the degree and job I'm going after.
So you're going to have a hard time pivoting. I understand what you're asking. Your military experience will bring you some value, but it won't be able to count as years experience doing that role. So, for example, what I mean by that, if the position calls for 3 years of logistics experience, if it specifically says 3 years logistics experience and you don't have that, then we can't help you translate it. However, in your work, you have done logistic roles. So you've been accountable for property, you've done accountability, you've done inventory. So we would just need to figure out how to get that written into your resume. So some things translate a little easier than others. I would just have to, Isaiah, I would just have to see your resume, see the type of work that you're getting into. GDIT does have entry level roles with anything as few as 0 years of experience. Some of them just require 6 months of experience. Tina has some leeway on her positions, but her positions do require a specific clearance. So that seems to be and the locations, right? We haven't talked about that, but also the locations. If you are in Augusta, Georgia, and you do not want to relocate, then we might not be able to help you. So there's that issue as well, Isaiah.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely get in contact with me either on CareerLink or I know you said you're driving, so you might not be able to copy things down. But we'll figure out a way, get in touch with me. It's really easy. Trudy Perry. I'm the only one on LinkedIn. So
Yeah, I
you'll
sent you a connection on LinkedIn, so
all right.
I'll
We'll
send
work.
you a message at some point later when I settle down.
Yep, absolutely. And then we'll start looking for full-time roles.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Sure, no worries. Who else? Is there anything else? We have 6 minutes.
I think Aubrey put a question in the chat. She was having connection issues with her microphone,
Okay.
and she put her question in the chat.
Can you read it for me, Jay? Do you see it?
Yep. She did mention that she will be finishing her BA in management with a focus in project management, and she enrolled in the onward opportunity for the PMP. Are there still any skill bridge programs that would align with those qualifications? Which is probably a loaded question.
So yes,
There's a lot.
we absolutely have roles that do not require PMP. You're really just going to have to get on the careers page and search through things. Now you asked about skill bridge. Aubrey, I would need to know your timeline. So I could possibly get you into something, but I've just oh wait. If you're doing also, I'm sorry, let me back up a little bit. If you are doing onward to opportunity as your skill bridge, then no, you cannot have two skill bridges. If you're just doing O2O on your own, then you do have another skill bridge opportunity available. But if you're doing one, then you can't have two. Okay. What other questions?
I got another question. This is Tommy again.
Okay, Tommy.
Yes, I told you earlier that I'm getting my Master of Intelligence with a cyber track, but I'm also going to do that be 8570 compliant. So which division do I need to actually concentrate on within GDIT?
Don't worry about it. Just go to the career site, look for roles, get that requisition number. When you get that requisition number, Tommy, send it to me and I will
Okay.
connect you with who you need to work with. It
Check.
may be me, it may be Jennifer, because we both have Intel roles. So what really is going to drive it is what your security clearance level is.
Check. What mine's expired. I'm retired military. Mine expired last year, but
Oh,
I've been listening to you.
okay.
I've been
All
listening.
right. We're gonna have a hard time. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, Tommy. We're gonna have a hard time finding Intel roles for you if
Yeah.
you don't have an active clearance.
Yeah, I understand that. I was thinking
Yeah.
about going into the federal government for a year to get that clearance back and then exit them. So
That
there's always way to skin the cat.
yeah, that could be an option for you. You can also go back into the reserves.
Check. Yeah, no. All right. Thanks for that.
We've only got about 2 minutes left, and I think Isabella just raised her hand for a quick question.
Okay.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Absolutely.
Oh, cool, great. So my question was just about, I guess, the schematics of everything. So I am studying for my MBA, for my master's, and I just wanted to know what opportunities would you guys have for me, because I'm not in the military either, like one of my other team members had said. So I'm not sure what you guys would be able to do to help me.
So Isabella, don't get wrapped up about clearances. We have a lot of jobs that do not require clearances. So absolutely, we can still help you. I know I've just put in my LinkedIn. I know I said that I'm a military program specialist, but I still absolutely can work with you, Isabella. Okay. So since we're running so short a time right now, let's just work offline. You connect with me, send me a LinkedIn message. If you don't have LinkedIn, I'm putting my email in the chat. You can get my link. You can also send me an email, and I will work more with you one-on-one to try to get you started.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
No worries, no worries. And finally, guys, you are always welcome to leave me messages on your career site. Jay just put up the career link. I have a board there, so you can leave me messages. Sometimes it does take me a little bit to get back to you, so my email is better. But 3 weeks from now, you forget what my email is, just find me on your career link.
Yep, absolutely. I put the link in there for career link, or where how to access it from your eCampus, and then also the wonderful YouTube video that was put together by our team, focusing on how to navigate with any questions you may have, finding jobs within the platform, how to navigate all of the resources, including this webinar, which will be uploaded into CareerLink as well in our employer webinar resource tab, and then also one for GDIT, because we have one focused specifically for GDIT as a military resource as well in CareerLink. So I appreciate all of your time today, Trudy, Tina, Danielle, and Jennifer for manning the chat. Thank you guys again for everything, and I appreciate it. And we'll get this video uploaded by the end of the week. Please connect with the team if you have any questions following up on this, and they'll be wonderful and happy to help you. Thank you guys again.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for dialing in and giving us an hour out of your day. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.